Hi, I'm Anna Woodman, and I'm going to be doing my informative speech over standardized testing. So guys, let's get out your number 2 pencils, your calculators, and let's get this test over with. You have 1 hour, and this test does determine your future. Ready? Go. Today I'm going to be speaking to you about standardized testing, how, one, I do not think that it is a reliable source because, some kids could not be good at testing, and then some people could be amazing at it. But there's a very small amount of kids out there that can take a test within an hour, 3 hours, and make a perfect score. They determine that to graduate high school or to move on to the next grade. Yeah, Texas has a law now that where no students left behind, but the next year you have to retake that class and that test. What if you become a senior and you still have not passed that test when you were a freshman? What is that supposed to mean? That you do get held back? Because you're not going to graduate. You have to have that test to graduate. So when that no student left behind, really they are if they have not met the standardized point as when you become a senior. Another thing that I would like to talk to you about is how can we improve that students don't have to take this test to, determine if they graduate or not, or determine if they move into the next grade, or don't have to take that class the next year, I guess is what I'm trying to say. According to what my research I have found, that Texas has always had a test, or not always, but in the past 10 years, even longer than that, maybe 20 years, they have had a test for 3rd grade until 11th grade, I believe. Even with tax testing, seniors, I believe, had to take at least one test. If they did not, they had if they had to take an AP test, and now you have dual credit. There's very few AP classes, even at my school anyways, there is. And I believe that, AP testing, yeah, I can understand. But why do you have to take a test to determine if you are good enough at that subject for your grade level? You're in 10th grade for a reason. You've made it all this way. You've passed freshman year. You're in 10th grade. English hit you hard. Yeah, why should you? Yeah, you should pass it, but why can't you just retake the class just to get better at it? Why do you have to take a standardized test for the state to determine if you are good enough for that class or not? That's just what I don't understand. I do not think that we should have standardized testing. Possibly, maybe because that I'm a student in high school and I think it's ridiculous. But I think many people, even parents, can agree with me. It's not necessary at all. Another thing is that I would like to touch is testing can cause serious stress in teenagers. For example, I will never forget my freshman year when I hit it was the first year of EOC testing, and it went from tax testing to be the hardest thing to EOC, like hitting us majorly. Biology was the worst struggle for me. When I got that test in front of my face, or my eyes, I went blank. Everything became a big cloud in my head. And I was like, I'm not going to pass this. What am I going to do? If I do not pass this test, I do not go to the 10th grade. But if I do go to the 10th grade, I have to retake biology. And that's going to make me look stupid because I'm going to be in a class full of freshmen next year. That just puts so much stress on a teen to determine if you're going to go to the next grade or not and be with your classmates in the same class as them. To me, if you've been in that grade, you need to stay with your classmates in the next class. You should not have to take a standardized test of what you've learned this whole year. We're in May taking this test, but when we are supposed to remember all this knowledge word for word and get graded on it, whether we take another class or not, all the way from August is what we're still trying to remember. I know that might not make sense to adults because they're like, oh, well, that shouldn't be that hard to remember. When you get a test, an EOC test at least, in front of your eyes, whether you're smart or not, it does put stress on you. You are determined, or not determined, you are expected to remember word for word any information that you have learned all year long to determine if you have to take that same class over again. And if you don't pass it then, another time. I mean, you have until your senior year to take it, yes. But I mean, you have only 8 classes a day. And at my school, we have block schedules. So really, you only have 5 classes a day. And only 3 of them are a long enough class to like have an actual lecture. There's no way you could fit those tests or those classes that you failed for that test back into your schedule. It's just not meant to be. It is the most ridiculous thing that I think that they have ever determined for Texas students or our country to take for a take a standardized test to move on. Time aspect stresses kids and blocks them to fully use their brain. I mean, they give us snacks. They do. It's supposed to help us, eating. I mean, you get your blood circulation going, and I guess it helps. It's supposed to help you anyways. And I mean, can y'all not understand or agree with me that, I mean, it is so, it's not right. It's not. And y'all agree with me. And, I mean, I do not understand it. I'll never understand it. And that's why I'm talking to y'all today about it, is because I'm trying to get y'all to understand where I'm coming from. As a teenager, as a high schooler, it's not right to give us all this stress to determine if we have to take a freshman class over our sophomore year, or maybe over our junior year. We have an option, but I mean, if we didn't take our sophomore year, we took it junior year and still didn't pass it, what are we supposed to do? We're basically screwed. I mean, it's stupid. And another thing that I want to hit is that standardized or unreliable measure, as I said before, it's a very unreliable source because, like I said, some people could be good at testing, some couldn't. But how can one person, a computer, generate your score? How can they know if you really knew that, but you just forgot it, literally, because you get like 3 hours, or 4 to 3, I don't know, 3 hours, I think, to take the test. That's basically 5 minutes on each question. I know that's may seem like a long time, but it's not. 3 or 5 minutes on one question, it is not long at all. Because, I mean, there could be a question that you learned on the first week of school, or in the first week of school. But here we are in May, trying to take this test and trying to remember everything that we've learned that first week. How is that possible? Because, I mean, for me, I can tell you right now that I struggled. I was on the borderline of passing for biology. You know what? I might have been a little bit above borderline, but I really don't think I was. It was so close to me. For English, I didn't pass it my freshman year. I had to go on my sophomore year. I didn't have to retake the test because I came to a certain point or level for the test to not have to take the actual class, but I had to take the ESC again. And, I mean, I'm not going to lie, that was embarrassing. I eventually, as the test came around my sophomore year, I didn't really care, but it was embarrassing. And I really think that Texas, other states included, do not realize what embarrassment, how stupid, how it's not necessary for us to take a standardized test at the end of a year, to determine if you are good in that course or not. You're basically telling a student, if you don't pass this test, you failed. You're a failure in high school for that grade, for that class. It's not right. You're telling a student that they're screwed in life if you cannot pass this one easy standardized test for this course. It's not right. Like I said before, I'm repeating myself, but it's not. And I mean, there is a few ways that we could improve standardized testing, like I said. I mean, they could set better time limits if they really want us to take a standardized test. If they really think it's necessary, they could set a longer time period. They could set certain rules for, like, better rules, reasonable rules at least, for the testing. Like, literally, a teacher cannot speak at all. They can say yes or no. Like, I mean, yeah, a teacher isn't supposed to help you on a test, but I mean, we're in high school. Yeah, I understand you're trying to get us ready for college, but we're in high school for a reason. For us to get ready for college, but we're still in high school, we need to know how to take a test. And if a teacher cannot teach us that while a test is going on like that, to me, I can't understand that. And I hope, along with my audience and you, I hope that from this speech that y'all got enough information to decide your decision that standardized testing is not necessary at all. And with this information, I can tell you that I know that you're leaning a little bit more to the unnecessary for this testing. And we need to be well educated. Yes, Americans need to be well educated. And yeah, I get it. China, other countries than us, they are more educated. But we are America. Each country has their different type of kids, different type of learning techniques. This is how ours is. This is America. We can do whatever we want. They can make whatever rules as long as they get passed. They just need to make up their mind what we need to do, because they need to quit changing it. They need to have one thing set for a good while till we get a new set of people in. But just take your time and think about this. Again, I don't think it's necessary, but maybe you still think it is. Maybe you think that a child needs to take a standardized test to determine if they should move on with that course or not. But to me, it's unnecessary. And that's my opinion on standardized testing. Thank y'all so much for watching my speech, and I hope y'all have a great night.